Good evening all. So we have come back with a new video, and today is about a very interesting topic, which is about cooking. So I am one of the guys who was not used to cook in his home until a very late stage in his life. Maybe when I was 29 to 30, I started cooking, and now I consider myself with a moderate skill in terms of cooking. So before, I did not know why I did not cook, but usually I thought maybe buying things from outside would be the cheaper option. Of course, if I had a big family, I would never think in this way. It will always be thinking that you should be thinking in an economical way. You are responsible for several people, and preparing food for several people really worth doing the effort and cooking. So maybe because I did not have the responsibility of feeding so many people, I did not start cooking. Although when I started cooking, and I have made a lot of things, and I started to think how we can actually engage people, especially the younger generation, into cooking and becoming, let me say, home chefs for their families at least. So I am the kind of guy who believes that cooking is not the responsibility of women. Cooking is the responsibility of both men and women, and we should always promote this culture within our younger generation and within ourselves. And how we can do this? We can do this by teaching them how to cook, and by showing them that cooking is a very important thing to do in life, and it can be some kind of duty or homework, because actually if you cooked for one time, it's not enough for you to develop the habit of cooking. So you really need to cook several times for a period of time, for a longer period, to make it part of your lifestyle. So if I would develop a curriculum about cooking, how I would start. So I will start in the beginning of teaching people how to make chicken, boiled chicken, and how to make boiled meat. And they call it, this is chicken stock and meat stock. And this is a fundamental part for doing different Arabian dishes. You can do mixed vegetables with tomato sauce, kind of jumelo, kind of spinach, kind of akra or okra, bamia in Arabic, and kind of all forms of vegetables with some kind of tomato sauce. It starts with a chicken stock or with a meat stock. So if you can do a good chicken stock, and if you know how to cook different types of food, then then it's your lucky day. Then it would be then you would be able to cook for a longer period of time. And sometimes if you make a big meal, you can even store it and make it into portions that can be enough for you for a whole week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even 4 weeks. So really developing the habit of cooking can be a very effective way in reducing your expenses outside. Also, it can be a very good way for you to stay healthy. So there are two benefits from learning cooking. And the third one, you can be a helpful hand for your wife, mom, family, partner, and so on. So three benefits for learning how to cook. You become a helpful hand, you would develop a healthy lifestyle, and you would be able to control your costs. So these are the three benefits that you get out of learning how to cook. So you start with learning how to do meat stock and chicken stock, and from there you develop different parts of meals. Definitely you should learn how to do mansaf. So the motivation for me to do mansaf was that I should be able to do a national dish somehow. So if someone asked me to do a national dish, I should always be able to at least cook for him a national dish, something that he did not taste somewhere else. The other day, I met a guy. He told me that they cook the same in Biro or, or something like that. So they said like the mansaf, maybe they are doing this a similar meal in Piro and so on. So however, it is famously known to be a very famous Jordanian dish. So that's one good. Also, you need ملوخية, مسخن, مقلوبة. So you need to learn these, and which is basically it's highly dependent on rice. So after you learn meat stock and chicken stock, and you know different, you know how to cook different meals or different dishes. On top of these, you need to learn how to do rice. And rice is very important that you always get it right. You should not allow yourself to get right wrong, because right is fundamental part of eating. You can't burn it once or have it salty or something. You should always get the rice right. That's the third portion. Then you are sorted for maybe for longer period. Maybe now you are sorted in terms of food for a year, in terms of like savory food. Rice, chicken stock, meat stock, this will be enough for you to enough education for you to cook for years or a year. Now about sweets. So you start with cake, and you start with the ready cakes, and these kind of ready mix that you can buy it, cake mix. It's actually can be very helpful for you to make a quick dish or a quick sweet. So in some days I used to make 4, 5, 6 cakes per day, and this is not an exaggeration. I was always continuous after the oven. Sometimes I used to do a lot of crepe, and sometimes I used to do a lot of halawat al-jibn. And that's and maybe also I wanted to do knafa, and I wanted to do Ali, and I wanted to do the others, but also the time was not enough to be able to do all of this. So in terms of sweets, I always advise on 3 things. You should learn how to do a mix or a cake mix, and you should know how to make a dry sweet mix. And cake, the cake mix is very different than. Okay, the cake mix is very different than the one in a dry mix. So if you want to make this basbousa or harissa, or you want to make this helbe, and they are all famous dishes, you should always know how to make. You should always know how to mix the flour with water and to make a paste that you can use for different dishes and for different sweets. That's the second thing. And the third thing, you should always know how to do pastries, so, things like pizza, things like pizza, things like these cheese, bread and cheese, and so on. These things you really need to develop them. And if you are into really spices, you should know about coriander, chili, curry, this condiment, habhel, condiment, and cardinium. I think cardinium or something like that, because they can make your food taste wonderful. So turmeric is a very good one. Coriander also.